And once again, I'm Mr. J.
And we're back for topic number 2. I am Xavier. We're cutting this off to a brand new topic because we feel like we hit a mark with the last session. So we figured we'd take it a step further. And we want to talk about something that we are very passionate about ourselves above anything else that we're doing. And that is Hela7 development. That's our business. That's what we're creating. That's what we've spent an entire year building this foundation. Let's start from scratch how this came to be without making it depressing, Mr. J.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It starts depressing.
You are depressing me already.
And look, everything is only as good as its foundation. If you start from rock bottom, that gives you a chance to build a solid foundation.
Plus, you have nowhere to go but up.
Well, no, that's not true because you can go further down. Yeah. Rock bottom does have a sub basement. I found that out the hard way.
Yeah.
But you know, you're starting from rock bottom. You got to build yourself up, and giving yourself that opportunity to build up. So,
okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start this off. Before we get into how this happened, I want to talk real quick about why we're doing this. First off, money. Fuck you, pay me. Okay, it's our motto, believe it or not. But we are nobodies. We are in an industry full of somebodies who want you to ask permission to get famous, to get noticed. That's not who we are. We're the people that are tired of asking permission. And that's what we're actually about. When it comes down to it, what started was a long time ago. What was it, 2 years ago, roughly?
Shit, 3 years ago? It was longer than that. It was 3, maybe 4 years ago. I mean...
Okay, I'll go with 3 years ago. I moved to a small town in the middle of nowhere. And while working in the middle of winter where there's no jobs, because I worked a seasonal job, I talked to my one friend and I talked to my wife about maybe writing a book called The Fallen, based off of my gaming career from 1998, according to God. I'm actually not, it was the programmer's name, God. He created a gaming world called Hela7. Now, that player-run shard based off of Ultima Online eventually came crashing down. Not badly, just we didn't have the motivation to want to do it after certain point.
See, we're still talking about video games.
Yeah. We didn't... Back then, we didn't have this ability where we could get paid and put things up on YouTube. None of this stuff existed for us. We did all this. Well, God did all this, and he called me in because I was a fantastic player, and he wanted me to basically test everything. And then
somebody has an ego.
And that would be you, but that's beside the point. But needless to say, it went from that, and then for about 10 years, I wasn't interested in any of it. And all of a sudden, I wanted to write this book on my characters of my friends and I that we created a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
I don't think you're allowed to say that.
I'm allowed to say that.
Are you sure?
Fuck you, pay me. All right. Second off.
Yeah, that's what George Lucas is going to say when he knocks on our fucking door.
What's that? You even mentioned the word Jedi, the letter J? Oh, I want money now. Anyway, so I got motivation from my two friends and my one friend and my wife to write this book. The problem is that I had no artistic flair. I am not an artist in any way, shape, or form. You know, seriously, give me a pen and paper, I'll give you a stick figure and call it artwork. Because it is, motherfuckers. But I'm really good at writing stories, capturing emotion, sarcasm, things like that into a book. In which case, my one friend introduced me to Mr. J.
Yep. How the fuck did it go? You showed up at my house with this mutual friend, and we talked for a little bit, and then we went and sat at a local pub and had a few alcoholic beverages and discussed business and art ideas. And that's when I began working on the cover of The Fallen.
To be fair, that actually started before I called you for the cover. I called you like a year later. Out of the blue.
Whatever. Are
Are
you going to tell the fucking story, or are you going to...
Whatever. Anyway. So,
continue.
Well,
obviously, you're a better storyteller, so
okay,
you can capture emotion. And
so there I was in the woods, and out of nowhere,
is this going to be a gripping tale?
Oh, absolutely! It's going to be horror, drama, some sex between two guys.
Cowboy butt sex.
Awesome! That's great. Peter. Anyway, so we. Originally, whenever I read the book, and I got Mr. J, I'm Xavier, to do the artwork on the book, we were really happy and excited about pushing out, possibly starting a business. But guess what? It didn't go anywhere.
At that point, we weren't even discussing starting a business. We were just working on the book as a business. The publishing industry and book writing, editing, illustrating, it's all a industry in and of itself, and you could make an entire business just off of that. So that's kind of where it all started, was with this book. This was 2 years pre-Hela 7.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Well, there's nothing to really be sorry about. But I'm sure many of you who are listening to this know that whenever you put your heart and soul into something and it doesn't work out the way you at least remotely hope it will, like even a couple of dollar signs, you start to break down. I don't mean necessarily like have a breakdown moment in life, just, it kind of gets to you. And so I called Mr. J, and I told him that we were not doing as well as we hoped. And out of the blue, he just took the reins. He's like, "I'll tell you what, let me do my magic. Let me do my thing. I'm a businessman. I run my own business, several businesses actually, and let me try and push this." So I told him he can absolutely have, 50% of the book?
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
Just out of nowhere. I'm like, this guy I met one time and talked on the phone like 3 times before that. I just out of the blue said, "You know what, honestly, I'll give you 50% of the profits. Help me."
And I'm like, well, that's beyond too much, but I'm just the illustrator. I'm not doing much more than that. And I don't feel that I deserve 50% of what you made. But Xavier, in all of his generosity and glory and ego, decided he was going to give me 50% of his
more
work. So but so I grabbed the reins of this book project, and I tried a couple of things and hit a couple of walls, and tried a couple more things and hit a couple more walls, and there was we saw an opportunity to get out there in some of the big chain bookstores. I'm not going to mention any names, but you're all dickheads. They basically told us that our book wasn't good enough, and the money and the time that we put into this book, they basically just said, "Fuck you. We don't want you because you're not a star publishing company, or you're not a award-winning author, and we don't want it."
And keep in mind, before any of this stuff took place, we actually self-published. But let me tell you straight up and honest, it's a lie. Self-publishing is a lie. These companies tell you that they will help you in every way humanly possible. No, they don't market for you, which is what you actually need. The one thing you need, it doesn't matter if your book goes up on Amazon or whatnot. If you don't have a marketing team in any way that's willing to push your book, you will stay a nobody. Your book will stay nothing. And all you can do is sell to your friends. And I made a profit off of selling to the friends, but that's why Mr. J went to actual publishing companies.
And I reached out to these publishing companies. I did what I told Xavier I would do. And
to the equivalent, I might add, of him literally storming into a conference meeting almost with the bigwigs of said company to push this book. That's how far he went.
And I did all of that on my cigarette break at work.
Yeah.
At the time, where I'm out smoking a cigarette and I'm on a conference call with bigwigs of a major book company, just because it was that important that we got this done. We got it out there and basically made a living off of doing what we loved and building a legacy for our children, which is our primary goal. Not only to make money, but make money to survive and to give that legacy to our offspring.
Demon spawn.
Yeah. But from that point, when we got that no from two different major book companies, we had to take a step back. And yeah, we both kind of walked away with our tail between our legs and had a shit ton of personal problems happen all at once. And we just put our heads together and said, you know what? We got to do something more. Which is when Xavier proposed the idea of Hela7 development to me. And there is that goddamn child interrupting the recording again.
Which, I might add, took us almost daily conversations on the phone to get to this point. Now, keep in mind, he's 1,700 miles away from me.
And we've only ever met in person once.
One time. Even to this day, we've only met one time, face to face.
Now, we have Skype sessions, so I know what his living room looks like. He knows what my dining room looks like. But that's about it.
But yeah, I proposed this Hela7 company. I don't know if you came up with the development or if it was mutual or whatever. I don't want to try and take credit for something. But it all came down to what we thought was actually going on, which is, for starters, books are a dying media, which I might add, Mr. J told me from the beginning, from the get-go. The moment I started putting pen to paper, he said, this isn't going to work. I will try, but it's not really going to work. We don't have the followers that it used to. So which is another thing that I encourage in our communities is libraries, bookstores, bringing dead media back to life. Because honestly, if I spent 20 years of my life in the trucking industry, which, as everybody knows, automotive is technology based. You have to have computers to read codes. You have to have up-to-date tools and this, that, the other thing, computers. If those computers crashed, you're kind of ass out. Luckily for me, I was raised up in the trucking industry in the old school method with looking shit up in parts books and service manuals. So if our computers crashed, I was one of a few people that knew how to navigate these books and pull our asses out of the fire. And I don't know how many times these books contained just the smallest tidbit of information that fixed a fucking problem that the computer could not figure out. So, with technology and all its wisdom, still has its flaws. And there is a place for all of this dead media, so to speak. So, again, I encourage people to start small libraries and small bookstores and
just even coffee shops where you could just sit and chill and sip a mochaccino with a little heart on it.
Call
Yeah,
you-
I said it.
Call yourself
Smoke a
hipster.
cigarette,
Call yourself
smoke a
hipster.
cigarette, and read a book.
You can't
You
smoke
know?
a cigarette now. Everything is against the law.
I'm working on that loophole myself. But it's another one of those community efforts that I am encouraging. And I plan on doing myself when Hela 7 becomes financially secure to be able to withstand outside business resources.